먼저 본식을 시작하기에 앞서서 선악 평화상에 대한 소개와 본 시상이 있기까지의 과정을 영상으로 만나보시겠습니다.
What is peace? Our world is becoming one global village, and we are all experiencing vast changes in our daily lives. How do we define peace? And how can we achieve it? Maybe we can get closer to the better life that humanity seeks through this essential question. These unimaginable numbers show how many people are living through the pain. The way for us to live is to rely on each other's love. We must give until all our selfishness disappears. That is when peace will come.
하늘의 뜻과 인류의 평화를 위해서 크게 공헌한 사람 또 단체로서 역사적인 자리에 서게 될 것입니다.
The Sunhak Peace Prize promotes sustainable human development, conflict resolution, and ecological conservation as its core mission for peace. Sustainable human development. The founders, Reverend Dr. Sun Myung-moon and Dr. Hak Ja-han-moon, met an African mother who watched her starving children helplessly. We must ensure the dignity of those who dream of a better life. Conflict resolution. Humanity can create a world of peace only by unraveling the knots of conflict. The founders met with President Mikhail Gorbachev of the Soviet Union to bring about the reconciliation of communism and democracy. They also met with President Kim Il-sung of North Korea to propose a path to peace on the Korean Peninsula. Ecological conservation. Today, when the lives of humanity are threatened, we must seek the coexistence of nature and humans. The inaugural Sunhak Peace Prize focused on climate change and the food crisis, and awarded His Excellency Anote Tong, the former president of Kiribati, for his struggles to address the climate crisis, and Dr. Moda Dugugupta, a leading fishery scientist from India, whose innovative work in aquaculture technology helped spawn the Blue Revolution. The 2017 Sunhak Peace Prize focused on the global refugee crisis. The prize was awarded to Dr. Gino Strada, a hero who fought for the rights of refugees and war victims to receive medical care, and to Dr. Sakina Yakubi, the mother of refugee education, who proposed a fundamental solution for refugee resettlement. The 2019 Sunhak Peace Prize focused on human rights and human development in Africa. The prize was awarded to Mrs. Waris Diri, who contributed greatly to the advancement of women's rights through her activism against female genital mutilation, and to Dr. Akinwumi Adesina, who led Africa's development through agricultural innovation and promoted good governance in Africa. In commemoration of the centenary year of the founder, Reverend Dr. Sun Myung-moon's birth, the 2020 award focuses on the founders' vision of peace, interdependence, mutual prosperity, and universal values. The Sunhak Peace Prize Committee decided to award the founders' centenary award to former UN Secretary General Ban Ki-moon of the Republic of Korea for his work in striving for a sustainable Earth, and the 2020 Sunhak Peace Prize to two worthy individuals, Bishop Munib Yunan, the former president of the Lutheran World Federation, who advanced religious harmony among Islam, Christianity, and Judaism in the Middle East, and His Excellency Macky Sall, current president of Senegal, who demonstrated a model of good governance in Africa. The 2022 Sunhak Peace Prize focused on the global pandemic response. In the midst of the rise of nationalism, global economic shock, and the crisis of deepening inequality, heroes who showed solidarity and cooperation with their love for humanity were nominated. We received 177 candidate nominations from all over the world. Then there was careful review and rigorous screening process to select the candidates. Sunhak Peace Prize Committee has decided to award the 2022 Sunhak Peace Prize to Dame Sarah Catherine Gilbert and the Gavi, the Vaccine Alliance. The Founder Special Honorary Award was awarded to His Excellency Samdech Hun Sen, the Prime Minister of Cambodia. The laureates of the Sunhak Peace Prize will be a good model of how one person can peacefully improve the lives of millions. Peace will be realized when the barriers between nations, religions, races, cultures, and ideologies are overcome. The key to lighting the path to a new era of peaceful civilization is a love of humanity that treats each other as members of one family. The Sunhak Peace Prize.
오늘의 의미 있는 날이 있기까지의 과정을 영상으로 소개해드렸습니다. 인사드리겠습니다. 미래 세대를 위한 평화상 제5회 선학 평화상 시상식의 진행을 맡은 저는 신영일 아나운서입니다. 반갑습니다. 오늘 이 자리를 축하해주기 위해서 정말 많은 분들께서 참석해 주셨습니다. 감사의 말씀 드립니다. 내빈 여러분 잠시 소개해드리겠습니다. 먼저 전 세계 각국에서 전현직 국가 수반과 각계 최고 지도자들, 그리고 한국의 각계 지도자 및 온라인을 통해서 전 세계 지도자들께서 참석하고 계십니다. 여러분 큰 환영의 박수를 부탁드리겠습니다. 설립자 가족분들과 수상자 그리고 관계자분들도 함께 하고 계십니다. 여러분 따뜻한 박수로 환영해 주십시오. 특히 캄보디아에서 전현직 각계 60여 명의 지도자분들께서 참석하셨습니다. 여러분 따뜻한 박수로 맞아 주십시오. 오늘 행사를 주최해 주신 선학평화상위원회 위원분들을 잠시 소개해 드리겠습니다. 뉴트 깅리치 위원님, 댄 버튼 위원님, 토마스 맥데빗 위원님, 토마스 월시 위원님, 문연아 위원님, 윤용호 위원님께서 자리하셨습니다. 환영의 박수로 맞아 주십시오. 그리고 오늘 이 자리를 축하해 주기 위해 국내에서 많은 분들께서 참석해 주셨습니다. 일일이 한 분 한 분 소개해 드리는 게 도리겠지만 시간 관계상 내빈 소개는 여기서 줄이도록 하겠습니다. 오늘 함께 해 주신 모든 분들께 다시 한번 뜨거운 환영의 박수 부탁드리겠습니다. 고맙습니다. 자, 그럼 지금부터 미래 세대를 위한 제5회 선학 평화상 시상식을 여러분의 큰 박수로 시작하겠습니다. 먼저 선학평화상위원회 호세 마누엘 바로소 위원장의 환영사를 청해 듣는 순서입니다. 위원장께서는 2012년도 유럽연합 집행위원장을 역임하셨으며 2013년 유럽연합을 대표해서 노벨 평화상을 받으신 바 있습니다. 여러분 뜨거운 박수로 맞아주십시오. 어서 오십시오. 선학평화상위원회 호세 마누엘 바로소 위원장께서 환영사를 위해 입장하셨습니다.
Your Excellencies and distinguished guests, we are gathered here today to congratulate and encourage the 2022 Sunhak Peace Prize laureates, I would like to express my sincere appreciation for joining us on this special occasion. The Sunhak Peace Prize was founded at the behest of Dr. Hak Han Moon, the wife of the late Reverend Dr. Sun Myung Moon, to honor and preserve their ideals, legacy, and achievements. In selecting this year's laureates, the Sunhak Peace Prize Committee, which I have the honor to chair, focused on the response to the pandemic. And history should remember the heroes who have been working for peace. And during this time of the pandemic, we need health for peace and peace for health. The two laureates, Professor Dame Sarah Catherine Gilbert and Gavi, the Vaccine Alliance, are the heroes who devoted themselves to health for peace and peace for health with their commitment to humanity. This pandemic has highlighted the centrality of science in this fight against a virus that jeopardized the lives of everyone in the world. Science delivered hope in the form of vaccines, which have saved many, many lives. Without scientists like Professor Dame Sarah Gilbert from the University of Oxford, the pandemic would have left wounds much deeper and more fatal than it is now. Also, the pandemic has highlighted the centrality of solidarity and cooperation. Science gave us the tool to control the pandemic. However, we can only do it if we use them cooperatively and equitably, regardless of economic status. And Gavi, the Vaccine Alliance, emerged at the forefront of COVID-19 as the hero who led the collaboration to fight against nationalism and for vaccine equity. Distinguished guests and ladies and gentlemen, virus thrive by division, but we can defeat it through solidarity. And this idea of solidarity was at the heart of the founders of the Sunhak Peace Prize. Unfortunately, I would say that today there is a virus for which a vaccine has not yet been discovered, the virus of nationalism, of unilateralism. But we can't fight this virus if we accept not only science, but also the need for a truly cooperative and multilateral approach. Our commitment to stronger collaboration for a better world is more important than ever during the pandemic. And when we work in solidarity in a multilateral approach, we can achieve miracles and find answers to the fundamental inequalities that lie at the root of so many of the world's problems. For global problems, we need global solutions. Pandemics has shown it, but also for other problems that are now afflicting humanity, we need global solutions. Laureates of today's Sunhak Peace Prize, Professor Dame Sarah Gilbert and Gavi, the Vaccine Alliance, are driving forces creating these miracles. They have shown that science and multilateral cooperation works. The Sunhak Peace Prize will continue to discover enlightened organizations and courageous and righteous people who are dedicating their lives for the sake of peace and humanity. Let us all work together towards a noble culture of peace. I congratulate the laureates of the Sunhak Peace Prize 2022. I thank you.
네, 말씀 잘 들었습니다. 호세 마누엘 바로소 위원장의 환영사를 함께 하셨습니다. 이제 시상의 순서입니다. 수상자의 평화 업적 영상을 보신 후에 메달과 상패 수여 그리고 수상 연설을 듣는 순서로 진행되겠습니다. 먼저 사라 길버트 박사에 대한 시상 이후 세계 백신 면역 연합에 대한 시상을 이어가겠습니다. 그럼 사라 길버트 박사의 업적을 영상을 통해서 만나보시죠.
Throughout history, humankind has fought with different viruses. Our daily lives are being threatened by disease X. On January 1st, 2020, Sarah Catherine Gilbert, professor of vaccinology at University of Oxford, reads an article about 4 people infected with pneumonia of an unknown cause in China. And within 2 weeks, her team has successfully designed a vaccine against this pathogen that was never seen before. It was possible because of her 25 years of efforts in developing vaccines against infectious diseases and development of the revolutionary plug-and-play method to rapidly design a vaccine in preparation for disease X. Professor Gilbert and her team wanted the vaccine they developed to reach all corners of the world before the fatal COVID-19. Under the leadership of Professor Gilbert, additional funds required for vaccine development and manufacturing facilities were secured. At the same time, speeding up the process by simultaneous clinical trials. She viewed vaccine as a global public good, that vaccine sale was not for profit, and contracted with AstraZeneca, who pledged to manufacture and distribute the vaccine worldwide at low cost. She continued large-scale clinical trials, thanks to volunteers of various ages and races around the world, and proved the safety of vaccine through all 3 phases of the clinical trial. More than 2.5 billion doses of the Oxford AstraZeneca vaccine has been administered in 170 countries around the globe. It is widely used, with priority given to low-income countries with poor healthcare systems, giving hope to humanity.
This is a vaccine for the world. Safe and highly effective, easy to store and transport, low cost and available in large quantities. The values that resulted in this vaccine being made available align with those of the Universal Peace Federation. This vaccine was made for all of us, to protect each other and ourselves. We still have more to do, but the work of our international team has paid off, and the vaccine we made is already saving lives.
Professor Gilbert is receiving worldwide attention and praise as the world-renowned vaccine expert and the most influential woman leader. Regardless, she calmly prepares for her next battle with the virus that may become more lethal. Because today, she takes on the responsibility of protecting the tomorrow of all mankind.
영상을 통해서 업적을 만나보셨습니다. 이제 메달과 상패를 수여하는 시간입니다. 자, 그럼 첫 번째 수상자의 입장이 있겠습니다. 사라 길버트 박사를 여러분 큰 박수로 맞아주십시오. 사라 길버트 박사께서는 팬데믹 위기 속에서 신속하게 백신을 개발해 전 세계에 저가로 보급할 수 있도록 해주신 공적을 인정받아 오늘 영광스러운 선학 평화상의 수상자로 선정되셨습니다. 다시 한번 축하드립니다. 메달과 상패는 바로소 위원장께서 전달해 주시겠습니다. 먼저 메달을 수여하실 텐데요. 지금 수여되는 메달은 순금 187.5g으로 한국조폐공사에서 특별히 제작했습니다. 다시 한번 큰 박수 부탁드리겠습니다. 이어서 상패도 전달하시겠습니다. 상패는 한국의 자개 명인이 정성 들여 제작했습니다. 가로소 위원장께서 의미 있는 상패를 전해주고 계시고요. 자, 메달과 상패를 여러분께 보여드리고 있는데요. 자, 기념 촬영 진행하고 있습니다. 정말 멋진 메달과 상패입니다. 다시 한번 축하드리겠습니다. 네. 자, 이렇게 해서 오늘의 영광스러운 첫 번째 수상자에 대한 시상을 함께 하셨습니다. 자, 사라 길버트 박사께서 감회가 남다르실 것 같은데요. 그럼 지금부터 수상 연설을 박수로 청해 보도록 하겠습니다. 큰 박수 부탁드리겠습니다.
Dr. Hak Jahan Moon, Chairman Barroso, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. It is a very great honour to be selected to receive the Sunhak Peace Prize and to follow on from the prestigious laureates who have received the award in previous years. 2 years ago, it would never have occurred to me that I might be considered for such an award. I'm a scientist working at the University of Oxford in the UK, and for some years my research has been on the development of vaccines against viruses that are known to cause outbreaks. I had been part of a team that worked on the rapid clinical development of a vaccine against Ebola in 2014, when the largest outbreak of that disease that is known to have occurred happened in West Africa. Vaccine development moved quickly at first, but then paused while decisions were made on the next steps to be taken. Opportunities to test more than one vaccine for protective efficacy were lost. From my place in the team, I was able to observe what had gone well and where delays had crept in. I took note of the importance of planning many steps ahead should we ever find ourselves in a similar situation. At the very beginning of 2020, I began to respond to reports of a new virus that was causing disease and spreading rapidly. As the virus spread, our team grew. Our vaccine was produced, tested, and eventually licensed for emergency use. I had the great privilege to work with many experts, all using their knowledge, experience, and an incredible amount of hard work to make the vaccine widely available as fast as we could. Our partners, AstraZeneca, agreed to produce the vaccine without profit during the pandemic and to continue with that pricing strategy in low and middle income countries around the world even after the pandemic ends. Vaccine manufacturing has taken place in many countries around the world with the aim of maximizing the supply and the benefit that the vaccine can bring. It is now in use in at least 170 countries and over 2.5 billion doses have been produced. By now, more than 60% of the world's population has received at least one dose of a COVID vaccine. Now that large numbers of many different vaccines are available, there is still more to do to assist with the deployment of vaccines in all countries. But for many of us, we can now look forward to our lives returning to normal as the impact of the pandemic reduces. Except that we cannot simply go back to normal as if the last 2 years did not take place. Again, we must learn from what worked and what did not. We must increase the number of manufacturing facilities around the world as part of ensuring a more equitable supply of vaccines in the future. And we must continue to develop technologies in disease surveillance and diagnostics as well as vaccines. During the pandemic, there have been examples of highly beneficial international collaborations, not least in the phase 3 trials of the Oxford AstraZeneca vaccine, which took place in many countries around the world. Wherever we live, whatever our income and whatever our political views, we must understand that viruses do not recognize these differences and that no one is safe until we are all safe. We must continue to work together to strengthen our defenses, not against each other, but against our common enemy, the pathogenic microorganisms that can bring harm. We can achieve so much when we work together, each bringing our different strengths. The work we did to produce the Oxford AstraZeneca vaccine was exhausting and overwhelming at times, but ultimately vital and rewarding. I hope that many young people will be inspired in their career choice by knowing about what we achieved, and that governments and international organisations will work together to ensure that next time we need to respond to a disease threat, we will be better prepared than we were in 2020. Thank you.
다시 한번 축하드리겠습니다. 수상 연설을 들으셨습니다. 평생 바이러스 백신 개발의 길을 걸어오신 사라 길버트 박사의 남다른 감회를 느낄 수 있는 시간이었습니다. 다시 한번 축하의 말씀드립니다. 자, 이어서 공동 수상자인 세계 백신 면역 연합에 대한 시상이 있겠습니다. 지난 2000년에 설립된 세계 백신 면역 연합은 세계에서 가장 취약한 사람들을 질병으로부터 보호하기 위해 백신을 공급하고 있는 세계 최대의 보건 국제 기구입니다. 그럼 업적을 영상으로 만나보시죠.
Just 10 countries have administered 75% of all vaccine supply, and low-income countries have vaccinated barely 2% of their people.
Since its establishment in 2000, Gavi, the Vaccine Alliance, had a clear mission: to save lives and protect people's health from the threat of infectious diseases. Gavi has saved lives of countless children from the deadly virus who never even had the opportunity to be immunized. It changed their lives, and it became a force to transform their family, society, nation, and even their future.
If we were to describe Gavi in one word, it really would be that power of scale. We buy vaccines for 60% of the world's children.
However, 80 million children missed the opportunity to be vaccinated due to the frightening interference of COVID-19 in 2020 and face the risk of disease again. In response, Gavi called for support from all over the world to regenerate a stronger immune system. World leaders actively joined Gavi's ambitious goal to save more lives by vaccinating 300 million children over the next 5 years, marking a new chapter in global health cooperation. Resolving increasingly severe vaccine inequity was an inevitable task to escape the pandemic. Gavi coordinated the COVAX facility, a worldwide initiative aimed at joint purchase and equitable allocation of COVID-19 vaccines. And COVAX AMC was initiated at the same time, an innovative financial mechanism to enable access to donor-funded vaccines. Gavi has reached the milestone of 1 billion doses delivered to 144 countries through the COVAX facility, making fair solutions to vaccines a reality. To ensure that no one is left behind in the opportunity to prevent disease infection. To ensure that no one is left out in the opportunity to health and life. We promote vaccine for all, for everyone's right to life. Until everyone is safe. Gavi, the Vaccine Alliance, will continue to find fair and equitable ways to save all lives.
세계 백신 면역 연합의 고귀한 노력으로 팬데믹 종식이 앞당겨지기를 기원합니다. 이제 시상을 진행하겠습니다. 세계 백신 면역 연합을 대신해서 클로드 베글레 박사께 수여하겠습니다. 여러분 큰 박수로 맞아 주십시오. 어서 나오십시오. 세계 백신 면역 연합을 대신해 클로드 베글레 박사께서 입장하고 계십니다. 이번 시상은 선악평화상재단 이사장이신 토마스 월시 이사장께서 수고해 주시겠습니다. 어서 나오십시오. 자, 그럼 먼저 수상자에게 메달을 수여하도록 하겠습니다. 오늘의 귀한 의미가 담긴 메달이 수여되고 있습니다. 다시 한번 축하드립니다. 이어서 멋진 상패를 전달하고 계시는데요. 오늘의 의미를 담은 상패가 전달됐습니다. 다시 한번 축하드립니다. 자, 잠시 정면을 보시고 기념 촬영을 하시겠습니다. 메달과 상패를 들고 오늘의 의미를 다시 한번 생각해 보겠습니다. 선악 평화상의 또 다른 주인공, 세계 백신 면역 연합. 오늘 클로드 베글레 박사께서 연합을 대신해서 상을 받으셨습니다. 다시 한번 세계 백신 면역 연합의 수상을 축하드립니다. 네. 자, 이렇게 해서 공동 수상자에 대한 시상까지 모두 마무리했습니다. 자, 사라 길버트 박사, 클로드 베글레 박사, 그리고 시상에 애써주신 두 분 함께 기념 촬영을 잠시 진행하겠습니다. 여러분 다시 한번 박수 부탁드리겠습니다. 네, 이제 좌석으로 모시도록 하겠습니다. 네, 자, 오늘의 영예로운 수상자 그리고 시상에 애써주신 분들 다시 한번 큰 박수 부탁드리겠습니다. 영광스러운 제5회 선악 평화상의 수상자를 만나보는 시간이었습니다. 시상에서 주신 호세 바로소 위원장님 그리고 토마스 월시 이사장님께도 감사의 말씀 드립니다. 선악 평화상 최초의 단체 수상자인데요. 자, 이제 세스 버클리 세계 백신 면역 연합 대표의 수상 연설을 스위스 제네바 현지를 연결해서 들어보도록 하겠습니다. 여러분 박수로 맞아 주십시오.
So thank you for that warm introduction. Dr. Hakjen Han-moon, Sunhak Peace Prize Foundation members, my colleague and fellow laureate, Sarah Gilbert, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. It is a great honor and privilege to receive this prize on behalf of the Gavi Alliance. I am very, very sorry to not be able to join you in person, but my duties required me to stay here in Geneva. Making the world better for future generations is a shared goal, and I'd like to commend Dr. Hakjen Han-moon for your tireless work turning this ambition into a reality. Your creation of this prestigious award has done so much to shine a light on those working to improve the world we live in. I thank you for your commitment in bettering humanity. Of course, for us at the Vaccine Alliance, making the world better means improving the health of hundreds of millions of the world's children. It means protecting them and more recently their parents against deadly diseases through vaccination. It means helping to ensure everybody, no matter where they're born, has an equal chance at a healthy future. It is through this work, improving health equitably across the world, that we can help foster stable, prosperous, and peaceful societies. Good health is the bedrock on which prosperity can be built. A child free from disease is more likely to go to school. Their parents are less likely to take time off work to care for them through illness. Their finances are less likely to be burdened by hospital or clinic fees. A healthier society is a wealthier society. And from this prosperity comes stability and peace. Time and time again, history shows us that broken economies lead to nationalism, to crisis, and to conflict. Of course, right now we're seeing this interplay between health economics and stability play out in real time around the world. The COVID-19 pandemic has cost the global economy trillions of dollars on top of the millions of lives lost, and the global political landscape has never looked more fragile. We have seen countries retreat into vaccine nationalism, instituting export bans and buying up many more COVID-19 vaccine doses than they need for their populations in a time of short supply. We are at a crossroads. One path, the path of nationalism and insularity, could lead us to increased insecurity and the continued spread and evolution of COVID-19. The other path available to us is that of shared partnership. We can defeat this global pandemic and end its economic toll, but only by working together. The spirit of partnership and multilateralism embodied by the Sunhak Peace Prize Foundation and the distinguished laureates up until now has also been embodied by Gavi since its creation in 2000. We are an alliance, a partnership encompassing international organizations like the WHO and UNICEF, civil society, vaccine manufacturers, donor governments, and the governments of the countries we exist to serve. Each plays an instrumental role in the work we do. This partnership has achieved incredible results. Our alliance now helps immunize nearly half the world's children against diseases from measles to diphtheria, pneumonia to polio. Over the past 2 decades, we've immunized more than 900 million additional children, reducing vaccine-preventable diseases by 70%, contributing to more than a 50% reduction in child mortality in the lower-income countries we serve. However, COVID-19 has put this progress at risk. 2020 saw vaccine rates drop in lower-income countries for the first time in decades due to fear and lockdowns, as well as the fact that health systems were forced to turn their focus and attention to the pandemic. Our alliance is working hard with countries to get routine immunization back on track. But of course, the best way to reduce the impact of the pandemic is to bring it to an end. To help do this, we have brought the decades of experience to bear on the creation of a multilateral solution to this pandemic. Alongside WHO, CEPI, and UNICEF, we've created a true world first in COVAX. For the first time, we have a platform through which the world can come together to ensure fair, equitable access to vaccines for every country and every population during a pandemic. This is not just the morally just thing to do, it is also in everybody's self-interest as the best route out of the pandemic. The longer we leave large portions of the global population unvaccinated, the more chance this disease has to mutate and evolve. Global equitable vaccination remains our best hope at preventing this. As a multilateral solution to a global crisis, COVAX works. In the 12 months since our first doses were administered, we've delivered over 1 billion doses of WHO-approved COVID-19 vaccines around the world. 90% of these doses went to lower-income countries at no cost to them. Thanks to an incredible effort from our COVAX partners, governments, and an army of vaccinators and health workers around the world, COVAX vaccines are now reaching people in every corner of the world, from the Sahara to the peaks of the Himalayas. Of course, the pandemic is far from over. 2022 will be another challenging year, but we've proved that a multilateral solution to this pandemic can work. With further support, we can fulfill COVAX's mission to end vaccine inequality and end the pain and suffering that COVID has brought to so many of us. I'd like to also take this opportunity to thank the Republic of Korea, who has been supporting Gavi's core mission since 2010, and last year made a historic $200 million contribution to COVAX helping us procure vaccines for countries most in need. We are deeply grateful for this support. I accept this prize as just one representative of an alliance that encompasses not just the Gavi Secretariat in Geneva, but also hundreds of thousands of partners, immunization managers, and health workers across the world, working day and night to ensure vaccines reach the vulnerable and helping to forge a better, healthier, more prosperous future for all of us. On behalf of all of us at the Vaccine Alliance, I thank you.
네, 말씀 잘 들었습니다. 세스 버클리 세계 백신 면역 연합 대표의 수상 연설을 스위스 제네바 현지를 연결해서 들어봤습니다. 자, 이렇게 제5회 선악 평화상은 백신 평등의 중요성을 다시 한번 강조하는 대단히 귀중한 시간이 되고 있습니다. 자, 이제 오늘 이 자리를 축하하는 축하의 말씀을 청해 보도록 하겠습니다. 에후드 올메르트 제12대 이스라엘 총리께서 축사를 해 주시겠습니다. 박수로 맞아 주십시오. 제5회 선악 평화상 이 자리를 축하하는 축사를 위해 에후드 올메르트 제12대 이스라엘 총리께서 입장하셨습니다.
Thank you very much. May I first thank Dr. Hak Jae Moon for the inspiration, for the leadership that brought all of us here at this time under these circumstances. Every major development in human history, every revolution, every dramatic change in the quality of life of people living in different parts of the world always started with one person, a person that had the courage to step forward when most other people could not, a person who had the vision to look forward when most other people were not, a person who had the imagination, the creativity, the fearless attitude to try something that has never been tried before and to take the risk because he believed that this can make a difference in the life of people. This person is, in our time, at this place, is Dame Professor Sarah Catherine Gilbert. She had the courage to dream what appeared to many to be impossible. She had the imagination to think of something that can make a difference when most other people in every part of the world was preoccupied with the fears, the genuine, natural fears of the pandemic which spread across the world and which threatened the lives of so many people. She started, and when she started, she moved forward. And when she moved forward, our life became safer. And there was hope. She was not the only one, obviously. There were others. But I think that she represents the courage, the wisdom, the scientific expertise, the experience, and most important of all, the ability to look forward there rather than to be tied up to the present and fear to take the one step ahead of others that will make the difference. Thank you, Professor. for what you have done. There could be no impact for the creation of this vaccine and the others had there not been an organization that could reach out for all those who need the vaccine so that they will be able to benefit from it. There are millions in Africa, in the most furthest places. There are millions in South America, in Europe, in Asia. Low-income people, low-income countries, which were unable to somehow reach for the sources of these vaccines in order to use it to save the lives of their citizens, of their people. Gavi organization, the Gavi Vaccine Alliance did it. It's been an outstanding achievement which manifested resourcefulness, creativity, strength, and absolute dedication and devotion of thousands of people across the world that could bring the billions of doses for those whose lives were saved by this. I'm sure, although I was not officially authorized, but I have this feeling that while all of you sit with your masks and I can't even see your faces, that I speak for you when I thank them. Thank you very much.
감사합니다. 에후드 올메르트 제12대 이스라엘 총리께서 오늘 이 자리를 축하하는 축사를 해 주셨습니다. 자, 이제 오늘의 수상자들을 축하하고 의미를 되새기는 축하 공연이 이어지겠습니다. 오늘 공연은 정영주, 박완씨 외에 뮤지컬 팀이 준비했는데요. 전 세계를 패닉으로 빠뜨렸던 팬데믹, 수상자들의 헌신으로 그 혼란이 극복돼가는 지난 2년여의 과정을 공연으로 꾸며봤습니다. 여러분 큰 박수로 청해 보겠습니다.
There was time when mankind, and there was voice soft, and there was exciting. There was time when was of light, and the word was song, and the song was exciting. There was time, then it all went wrong. I dreamed a dream in time gone by. when hope was high and life worth living. I dreamed that love would never die. I dreamed that God would be forgiving. And then I was young and unafraid, and dreams are made and used and wasted. There was no ransom to be paid, no summer song, no wine untasted. But the tigers come at night with their voices soft as thunder, as they tear your hope apart, as they turn your dream to shame. He slept a summer by my side. He'd fill my days with endless wonder. He took my childhood in his stride, but he was gone and autumn came, and still I dream he'll come to me, that we will live years together. But there are dreams that cannot be, and there are storms we cannot weather. I had a dream life would be so different from this hell I'm living, so different now from what it seemed. Now life has killed the dream I
This is the moment, this is the day, when I send all my doubts and demons on their way. Every endeavor I have made ever is coming into play, is here and now, today. This is the moment, this is the time, when the momentum and the moment are in rhyme. Give me this moment, this precious chance. I'll gather on my past and make some sense at last. This is the moment when all I've done, all of the dreaming, scheming and screaming become one. This is the day, see sparkle and shine, when all I live for becomes mine. For these years I faced the world alone, and now the time has come to prove to them I merit on my own. This is the moment, my final test. Destiny beckon, I never reckon second best. I was down just not for. This is the moment, the sweetest moment of them all. This is the moment, them all dear. This day I'll never, I see forever with the ghost. When I look back, I will always recall, moment for moment, this was the moment, the greatest moment of them.
I have the utmost deep respect and gratitude to everyone here for keeping dream and world peace. Thank you.
525,600 minutes, 525,000 moments so dear, 525,600 minutes. How do you measure a year? In daylight, in sunsets, in midnights, in cups of coffee, in inches, in miles of laughter and striving. 525,600 minutes. How do you measure a year in the life? How about love? How about love? How about love? Measuring love. Seasons of love. Seasons of love. 525,600 minutes, 525,000 journeys to plan, 525,600 minutes. How do you measure the life of a woman or man? In truth that she loved, or in time that she cried, in bridges she burned, or the way that she died. Let's celebrate, remember the year in a life of freedom. Remember, 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 remember your love. You got your love, you got your love. Give your love, share the love, spread your love. Measuring love, measure your life in love.